Being a teacher can be a lot of hard work, and I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about that. Go, Zoe. As I mentioned before my intro, I believe that being a teacher is a lot of hard work. If you don't believe that, you probably fall into one of two categories. You're either A, someone who has never taught before, or B, you're one of those people I like to call student whisperers, and that is a mythical person who just finds teaching to be an easy thing. They don't have to put a whole lot of effort into it. Although I haven't actually met anybody who falls into that category, I think that they may exist, but I do have to label them as mythical at this time because I've never met them. Don't get me wrong. When I say being a teacher is hard work, that doesn't mean that I don't like being a teacher. That just means that I think it takes a lot of effort to be a teacher. And if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I am currently doing my Bachelor of Education degree. I have been spending the last several weeks in a grade 3-4 split where I have a cooperating teacher and I'm in my practicum and I'm spending all day, every day with the kids Monday to Friday. Now, when I say being a teacher is a lot of work, I don't mean that being a teacher is something that I don't want to do. I absolutely want to be a teacher, and this is something that I feel that I was born to do. I just think that being a teacher is a lot of work and people need to understand that. Also, just to use myself as an example, I'll give you an idea of exactly how my day goes. I start off my day, my alarm goes off at about 4:45 in the morning. By about 5:15, I find myself at the gym, and around 6:30, I'm leaving the gym, I'm heading home. Now, right when I get home, shortly after 6:30, my wife and I get the kids up. We do the normal things that you do in the morning, getting your own kids ready for school. We get their breakfast, we help get them dressed, we help brush their teeth, we do all those things, make their lunch, pack their bags, get everything ready for them, and get them out the door by 7:25. By 7:30, I find myself on my way to the school where I'm doing my practicum, and I arrive at the school at around 7:40 because I live incredibly close. And I get in the classroom and I start preparing for the day, and all of the students, the grade 3-4s, start to show up shortly after 8 a.m. Now, throughout the rest of the day, yes, you are teaching, and yes, you do have a couple of small breaks. That would be for a little bit of prep, or you have your lunch if you're not on duty. After the students leave, shortly after 3, I have until about 4 p.m. where I get the chance to think about the next day, and this is something that I really have to work on as a new teacher. The reason why I say I have to work on this is I really have some difficulty focusing in that short period of time. If you picture it, you've gotten up incredibly early, you've done a number of things, you've taught all day, and finally the students leave shortly after 3, and you might feel a little bit exhausted. So it seems to the average person that this would be the perfect time to kind of take a little bit of a rest and not think about the next day. But that is exactly the time that you should start thinking about the next day, and that is what I mean when I say that I have to work on that window of time. Right now, I'm incredibly exhausted come that time. And I just feel like I want to take a little bit of a break and ease off, and I oftentimes don't actually use that time to my advantage. 4 o'clock rolls around, and as a parent, it's about time that I actually go get my own kids from the after-school programs that they're doing. So after picking up the kids, you head home, you do all those things that parents do in the evenings with their children. You make supper, you have supper, you play, you read, you do if they have any sort of homework, and then they go to bed, and then it's shortly after 8 o'clock. So the reality is, oftentimes it's not until my own kids go to bed shortly after 8 that I actually have the chance to plan for the next day. So I'll do that for a couple of hours, and then it's time for me to go to bed. My head hits the pillow, and you hit the reset button, and you start it all over the next day. I know all sorts of people that also are parents and also are trying to do the teaching thing, and they have the same struggles that I have, is that when do you find time to actually plan for the rest of the week, the rest of the month, the rest of the year? If you are a teacher, you probably know that separating that work life from your personal life can be an incredibly difficult thing, and that it's really difficult to turn off that teacher brain. For me, that kind of shows up everywhere. When I'm out with the kids, when we're out shopping, I'm thinking about different things that I could buy for the students, buy for the classroom, different things that we could be doing inside the classroom. Also, when I'm with my kids and we're playing a game, or we're going over some homework, or we're reading, I'm thinking about different ways that I might apply that in my classroom. The reality is that I never really turn off that teacher brain. I guess the main point that I wanted to make with this video is that I believe that if you're going to get into the teaching profession, it is something that you're going to have to love, because you cannot turn that completely off. If you are able to, all the power to you. It's just my belief that teaching and being a teacher can be a 24/7 job. Now, do I believe that you can be a decent teacher and not absolutely love teaching? Yes. Do I believe that it's possible for you to turn that teaching mind off every once in a while and still be a decent teacher? Yes, that's not how it works for me. My teaching mind is always on at this point. I'm always thinking about different things that we can do in the classroom. It doesn't really matter what I'm doing, what time of the day it is. For me, I've decided that my job has to be something that I love doing, and teaching is that thing. No, I may not be able to turn that teaching brain off, because that doesn't take away from my personal life, the quality of life that I hope to give my kids, hope to give my family. Again, I've said it before and I'll say it a million times, is because teaching is what I want to do. Teaching is where I find myself most happiest.